We stand here today, 1 year since the tragic escalation of aggression that has claimed countless lives. What the world has witnessed is nothing short of a genocide, an unrelenting campaign of destruction, displacement, and dehumanization. Entire generations are being torn apart while the international community stands by, paralyzed by the weight of inaction. Since October 7, 2023, the situation in Gaza has been catastrophic. At the very minimum, over 40,000 Palestinians, most of which are women and children, have been killed. Most hospitals, universities, and other institutions have been destroyed, leaving Gaza in ruins. As a medical professional, I cannot fathom the destruction of medical facilities that has severely hampered the ability to care for the injured, with number of wounded exceeding 100,000. The ongoing bombardments have generated unimaginable devastation, with entire neighborhoods being wiped out and the blockade making it impossible to bring in sufficient aid. Meanwhile, in the West Bank, Israel has intensified its military aids, especially targeting refugee camps like Jenin and Nur Shems. These operations, involving drone strikes and ground incursions, have led to mass destructions of infrastructure, displacement of thousands, and killing over 600 Palestinians. The violence that we see in the West Bank is not happening in a vacuum. It has mirrored the brutality seen in Gaza, and now in Lebanon. Over 2,000 people have been killed and countless others injured as Israeli strikes continue to obliterate civilian infrastructure, especially in the south. The relentless bombardment has forced hundreds of thousands to flee their homes. This week, Israel escalated its campaign with brutal airstrikes on Beirut, the capital, leaving the city in chaos and devastation. As violence intensifies, fears of an imminent Israeli invasion grow, threatening to plunge Lebanon into further destruction. But we are not only in mourning, we also remember our resistance. For every life lost, there's a story, a voice, and a legacy that cannot and will not be silenced. The Palestinian people are reclaiming their narrative, standing tall in the face of unimaginable oppression. Their resilience in defiance of this brutality sends a powerful message. We will not be erased. This ongoing catastrophe is not just a Palestinian tragedy. It's a global moral failure. Weapons have been used not for defense, but to perpetuate a cycle of violence that punishes civilians, deepens the suffering of the occupied, and fuels instability across the region. Each bomb dropped, each bullet fired, only prolongs this unjust war, undermining the prospects of peace and violating the most basic principles of human rights. Our shared humanity demands a response, and that response must begin now. That is why today, I call on governments and institutions in the United States and across the world to impose an immediate arms embargo on Israel. An arms embargo is not just a policy decision, it is a moral imperative. It is a signal that the world will no longer tolerate the killing of innocents, the destructions of homes, and the strangling of an entire people's right to self-determination. In the Palestinian struggle, we see the universal fight for freedom, dignity, and justice. The world must rise. The world must rise to call for liberation and respond with meaningful action. Immediate action is imperative to stop the flow of weapons funded by U.S. tax dollars and European allies, which are directly fueling the oppression of the Palestinian people. Thank you.